Oh, right.
Oh, is that the one?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, like, what is a hackerspace? Hackerspace is a place to share tools, rapidly prototype, and research as a community. It's also a space where we can all share tools and work on our own projects. Many hackerspaces publish research and blog about the things they build. That's sort of like the lowdown for the Portland hackerspace and all the other hackerspaces that are popping up around the U.S. Basically, one of the main requirements that we should have are to work on a project together, at least one project together, so we can research and build cool things, and then publish our research and blog about the things we build. Another thing I want to do is I want to use used equipment as much as we can. So it's sort of like recycling things that are being given away or thrown away. If we can get like a broken table saw, we should definitely take it in and try to fix it ourselves. If we can get a hold of a broken laser cutter, no matter how hard it is, we should probably take it in and see if we can fix it. That's probably one of the other cool things about hackerspaces, recycling things. So I just sort of want to touch upon like the idea of it, and then open it up for open discussion and get some ideas, some opinions, and see how we can go about starting this thing. We're looking for a space right now. We don't really have a spot selected officially. There's a spot in the southeast that sounds like it's pretty big. You said it was 2,300 square feet?
Well, it depends. They're actually the whole building's becoming vacant. And you can get anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 square feet.
Is it close in southeast, or is it out with the prostitutes?
It's kind of far out. It's at 78th and Start, which isn't too far out, but it's a ways from downtown.
How's the transit?
It's about a mile from the actual blue line. It might be less.
It's on the number 15.
Yeah,
there's a bus stop right there on the number 15.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure how that'd work out for most of us, but I'm also open to find a space as well. One of the ideas that she had was to hop on bikes and just sort of spread out and see if we can find a pretty big open spot. Jerry Ellsworth sounds pretty interested, and she has a lot of equipment.
Well, and Jerry actually had a space, but her space was also in BFE. I'm sorry, 78 is bumped up. Even on the 15 is not, it is not a frequent service bus.
Right.
So that puts it in that realm of basically where Tech Shop and Beaver Chickens, it's bumped up.
Right. So it's something that's easy for everybody.
So Jerry's space was like a block and a half from Max. So one of the things with the Dorkbot community, if you're going to approach the downtown Dorkbot community, which you already have, they're pretty firm. I mean, the 100 or so people in that community are pretty firm on being central. So I would look very heavily at places you could write to, or places that you could commute to, or places that are close in. So as you're selecting, since it's still open and you haven't selected a space, I would like to inject that based on the experience of the other organizations who have tried to come in and say, oh, we're doing this. And Tech Shop is a prime example. When they're 6 months out from having the memberships they needed to start. And if they started in Northwest when they started where they started, they wouldn't be there. I'll guarantee you that.
They couldn't get that space. I mean,
I know they couldn't get the space. I understand the whys.
The bottom line is that it's a great constraint, but it may also be a showstopper. There just aren't a lot of great, big, ready for industry spaces centrally located. Oddly, those are expensive and they get snapped up as fast as
the hacker space is different than
I hope that. Yeah.
all I'm saying is that based on the tech shop experience, and based on this group's reaction to tech shop,
location's been a real problem. There's no arguing it.
What you were saying about writing is something that will connect to at least 3 downtown communities who will not participate in tech shop at all because it's in BFE and it's completely uncommunity from their perspective, and I agree with them.
So the general idea right now with finding a spot is for everybody to try and help them do that. I think getting on our bikes and riding downtown or in the industrial areas that are relatively easy to get to is a great idea.
I just did 2 hours about a week ago riding through Southeast and saw roughly 15 police buildings. I didn't follow up on any of them, but I know that they're out there. So it's just a matter of, I mean, nobody's on Craigslist. Like, I don't know. It's one of those situations where we have to find the space. The space isn't going to find us, I think. So it's just.
Well, part of it's what you're looking for too. I mean, you got to decide how much square feet you really need to make it work. You got to decide how what industrial grade you need the space to be. I mean, it's a lot easier to find shop type spaces than it is to find workshop type spaces in the area you're looking. And so you just have to decide what your hard constraints are. I mean, I hear you that location's one of those hard constraints. You're gonna have to figure out what your other hard constraints are. And then the traditional thing to do is just go to a professional commercial realtor and ask them what's on the market. I mean, there are worse plans really. That's what they do for a living. But before you do that, it'd be a good idea to have a good idea what your asking is.
What I'm thinking about doing is just setting up a form on the website for location spotting. So if anybody spots a location, they can just fill out the form, just name and address, maybe an email address, so I can get back in contact with you. And that's one way to get the information to me. My email address is on the website right now, so you can shoot me an email and I'll work with the rest of the organizers. Another thing, I need help organizing it too. It's a lot of work, and I have a day job as well, so I can't contribute all day to it. I wish I could, but I really need help organizing it. I think that
is a good suggestion is setting up a wiki on the website so that we can kind of collectively have a place to put all the information and pull it together.
That's a good idea.
And make it public.
Seth's help organizing it, Kirk's help organizing it. We can use everybody to help organize it too. But that's like the general idea right now. We want to open it up for discussion, see who has pretty good ideas.
So did you guys decide that 900 square foot is not enough?
Yeah, it's not.
Especially with Jerry involved? Sorry, especially with Jerry. Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, she's got a lot of equipment. I'm going to meet up with her in a couple weeks when she gets back from Nauticon. We're going to talk about finding a spot. She's definitely interested in the sounds of it. So.
Do you have any idea what is good enough? 2,000?
It sounded like between 2,000 and 3,000.
Well, what's the square footage of the space she has now that she just gave up? I mean, she had space that was ideal for this, and she sat on it for a year, and she didn't actually find a group of people who she was interested in working with.
She said that it's too small for her current stuff.
And how much space is it?
I did go to the last Northcon meeting. It sounds
like 2,400, 9,000. How big is it?
I think it was under 2,000 square feet. It was I think it was actually under 1,500 square feet.
Okay. Well, the thing about working with that space is that you lose a lot of your financial constraints as well.
Right.
I mean, now barring that, would 900 square feet work?
Depends on how many people are involved. That's like what it's coming down to is who's really involved, who really wants this, is willing to actually contribute time to it.
Realistically, sorry, was doing camera directions. He's okay with that.